Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of COVID Calls. I'm your host, Chris Perugine, and today we have a Maltese man, Martin Attad, who has been through the COVID experience, essentially, someone who got COVID early on, March, in the beginning of March, and has lived to tell the tale. So we want to be speaking to him today. I'm just going to bring him on screen now. Hi,
Hi,
Martin. How are you? Thanks for being with
I'm
us.
much better now. So much relieved and
So
recovering.
first of all, I want to tell you thank you for accepting to tell your story. I know you've already spoken on Facebook, you've already spoken on TV, and I think
Yeah,
it's really important that you do because there is a bit of taboo surrounding this illness. People are sometimes afraid to say that they've had it. Today, Malta has had almost 400 cases already, and
yeah.
about 44 recoveries, and you're one of the 44 recovery. So I just want to use this session. Usually we have several people on the show, but today this is a special session just with you. I want us to answer some of the questions that people might have. I want us to explain a bit the situation, the process you went through, so that people can maybe put their mind at ease. Maybe they can understand a bit better the situation. So Martin, how old are you, first of all?
I'm like 37 years old
37. Cool.
or young.
Um, 37 years, yeah. And you were telling me before you live with your
Yeah,
parents,
I
right?
still
One of the
live with my parents. At the moment, I'm like finishing my own apartment. I couldn't manage to finish it quite soon. It would have been better if that was
yeah.
ready. But anyway, yeah, I
So
still
let's
live with my parents. Yeah.
so let's start from the beginning. How did you realize that you might have got this illness? What were you feeling?
So like the story started out early. Let me see the calendar. The story started here on 9th March. A stressful day at work. Monday. No one likes Mondays. And to relieve the stress, I went to the gym soon after. After the gym, I think there were already these few cases that were there in the beginning. I spoke with my mom what happened about this COVID like thing in the morning, and I was like feeling some shivers, and my head started getting hot, and it was like having a small shock there. What the hell? Some people are mentioning symptoms, but there was no like information at that time.
So
Anyway,
you were experiencing a fever.
yeah, I just had some low grade fever, like 99, something like that, not more, or 100. During the night, it got a little higher during the night. And then, of course, I found 2111, which the service, you keep reminding that in the beginning, that time, the issue wasn't that blown up just as it is today, I found
Like in
111,
fact,
and
in fact, a lot of things were still going on, even globally, right? You said you remember the Champions League was
yeah,
still.
that week Champions League was still going on. We like had a futsal match on Friday, and Milan played on Sunday, even behind closed doors. But
So we weren't very
life
aware
was
of
more
it.
normal than it is today, you know.
Yeah.
And I phoned 111, of course, just to make sure. And they reassured me that I had nothing because I wasn't abroad at that time. I went only abroad on January, so I would be
So
safe.
111. So 111 asks you, have you been abroad? Because if not, then this is probably not COVID. It must be
Yeah,
something else.
yeah. They told me I think it's just a normal cold or stress. I went to the gym and something like that. And through that week, from Monday to Friday, like it was like low grade fever all the time. I still did work, stayed at home, and did teleworking that week just
You
to
were
make
feeling
sure.
weak.
Sorry.
Were you feeling weak?
I was a bit like weak, yeah, but it was just the low grade fever. But still, I was a bit worried because through that week, cases started getting a little bit up, especially the situation in Italy that time. Um, uh, so anyway, and then the other symptom I started having, which I did not realize that time, was the less of sense of taste. I
Not of
was like,
smell, of taste.
of taste. Smell, I don't recall, but taste, yeah, I do. Of course, I like eating chocolate, so
Okay.
Um, uh,
And then so you started to lose the sense of taste, and then what happened? You
yeah, and then something during the weekend, like the fever went down. And I said that, yes, it's nothing. It was really strange. I felt very good. On Saturday, I stayed in, and then on Sunday, I woke up very good again. I went for a walk in the countryside near the sea, and I was still very, very good. Then, of course, after that, I went for a beer in a place, the friend's place. I still took my distance from them, but I went there. I thought I was recovered. And Monday morning again, it was okay, no fever at all. I went to work. It was an evening shift. At the end of the shift, I start recalling shivers again. This time, the fever was much bigger. That, that's where I realized that I think I have COVID. I
and you
think
called up.
there's something serious. And this time, I made it clear to 111 so that they would make me the test. So that night was horrible. Lots of thoughts starting getting in, and while I couldn't sleep at first. Then when I wake up, I find my bed full of sweat. It was like an horrifying experience. I never had it before. Of
Much
course,
worse than a normal fever.
sorry, I didn't understand.
Much worse than a normal fever.
No, it was like 100 or 101, something like that.
Okay.
And of course, then I went for the swab the day after. By then, I was sure that I had COVID. It was sleepless nights that where we start beginning together.
Doing a lot of
Yeah, I didn't sleep that night until they phoned and told me that I realized like positive. That time I saw the world crumbling down on me. And it was not COVID, it was the thoughts of living with my parents with symptoms the first week. Um, Living with my parents the first week, going to my friend's place, going to work, thinking about my friends and colleagues' families, putting them to quarantine. Some of my closest friends that were with me or at work had their wife and their girl, which was pregnant. So all these thoughts came into mind, and
a
it
lot
was
of guilt.
yeah. People, I already saw my mom having no. Just to mention this to Ray here, uh, to make it clear, this was like in the beginning of March. I would
There weren't any. There weren't any.
now.
So hold on a second, Martin. Let me just explain because people might not have understood.
Yeah.
We're seeing the Facebook comments coming in, so please do leave your questions and we'll answer them. Ray asked, why did this guy go to a friend's for beer? Does he not know that that's presently not allowed? So yeah, what you're saying, Martin, is your symptoms started showing before Malta had taken much action in terms
It
of
was
the
like, I'm sure even he himself got a beer at that time. Because
But obviously for you,
everywhere was open.
but obviously for you that was a real shock because you realized that you might have been contagious, and you were with your elderly parents, you were with your friends, your friends who have partners who are pregnant, etc.
Yeah.
So you started to feel not only the anxiety of you being sick, but the anxiety of having made other people.
At that time, I didn't really care about me having COVID. I mean, I didn't have big symptoms, so it was only a little fever and some taste of smell, and then diarrhea started coming in. But the COVID itself didn't really give it up on me. It was the anxiety here that was really worrying me. Yeah,
We have
then
another question. We have another question about the swab test. Was it painful?
it's a bit irritating. I mean, yeah, you just it's irritating, not painful. No,
Okay.
irritating.
And you
So
got
every
that done.
grown up can kids may cry, but every grown up can do it. I mean, I'm a bit fussy even having injections to say the truth. I didn't like it, but yeah, it's better to do it and be safe. I mean,
Did you get the test done in hospital?
no, the test I went with my car at Law at the time.
Okay. Okay.
No, I never went to hospital. Then after they found me that I was positive, it's like they told me that an ambulance will be coming to stay away from the parents. Then an ambulance would be coming, and they took me to, I didn't know at that time, to St. Thomas Hospital. I never knew about it. And like
Okay.
there, I even met a friend of mine. So it was I knew a guy who was even had even tested positive. It was like a good experience, even speaking to those four guys which even had COVID. At least you can socialize a little bit, because socializing has become an issue. And
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I never went to hospital. I don't remember going to hospital my life since I was like 10. So the experience was, but at least I was away from my parents then. So that's another thing that was.
Do you know? Do you know how you got COVID?
No, that's a big another dilemma. I thought a lot about it. What I did during the week before, I met like a guy from London which came to our office, but he was all right all the time. Um, it was not then we like had futsal that week, and some foreigners play with us. And like then on such Friday, I think we went out for drinks with my colleagues as well. Then on Saturday, I went with my friends and had a futsal match, another one. Then on Sunday, I always go to the gym. So I think that the gym was the problem. If I had to point out something, but I cannot say because I wasn't abroad.
And do you know do you know whether you gave the illness to anyone else? So you said you live with your parents. You had met your friend for a beer before. You had gone to a friend's house. So were you? I mean, you were obviously worried about giving this to someone
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. That's my biggest fear at that time.
But did you?
No, thank God my cluster remained closed. So for me, it was like expecting messages saying, "Mom, how are you? How are you? How are you?" Every like 2 hours. How are you? How are you? Um, thank God that now nobody. So some of my friends did go for a swab test and it tested negative, and
Okay.
that's where I was starting liberating a bit. So my
Did
mind
you?
started easing a bit.
We have a question about whether you had a cough. Did you have a cough?
Yeah,
Because
that's like a strange symptom. Whenever I say try to see testimonials on YouTube of other people who had COVID, I rarely see them saying that they had a cough at the end of their COVID timeline. Many of them start having cough in the beginning. I had my cough at the end of this adventure when the fever got down. Even a little bit shortness of breath, not much, a little bit, not much, just some shortness of breath. And then I still have a little bit of cough, but today is the best day. Even if I'm negative, I mean your lungs are still affected.
so you have been since the 9th of March. So that's like more than
Yeah,
more than a month.
I mean, this took like 3 weeks. The first week it was like I stayed here at home. The second week, I got tested positive and I went to hospital. Then I've been at home until the 20 until wait a second, I'm checking my calendar on my screen. Uh, I stayed from home till like 16 till the 23rd of March. So the 23rd of March was the last day I spent in hospital, and since then I'm recovering at home. And
And what was
sorry.
it like with your parents? Your parents are still home, so were they
Yeah,
worried that you?
yeah, we planned it out along with the health authority. They helped me out about it. We like planned the house. They're living downstairs and I'm living upstairs. We have our own bathroom. But
Did
yeah,
you have did you have any particular conditions that make you more vulnerable? Like enough, do you have asthma or diabetes or anything else which might have made you a more vulnerable case?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm a bit overweight, maybe that thing that made me think about it. But I always go to gym, so I tell myself that I'm a healthy person.
And your parents?
And lately I've never been sick or something like that. I've been always healthy. I still try to do some physical exercise every day, even with COVID. I
Okay.
never feared that, to be honest.
Since you went back home, your family, your friends, were they afraid of you? Was there a sense of trying to keep as far as possible? Was it strange socially?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, because I was closing out all the Facebook notifications while
Okay. When
apologies.
you went back home, and obviously there are a lot of people. I imagine your friends and your family, everyone knew you got this, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was it a bit strange for you socially, where people really trying to keep their distance? Everyone was afraid of you.
I could tell this after. If none of my friends wouldn't meet with me, I would have a problem there. But I don't know how what they think.
Okay.
I think that the other recovered patients are afraid speaking out. It was for me. It
Yeah,
was like
liberating.
like a liberation. Yeah. After I
In
got
fact,
negative.
in fact, I want to explain that you're probably the first person in Malta who put up a Facebook status, and you said, I what were the words you used? You beat this,
Yes,
right?
yes. I already planned what to write in another sleepless night. I was planning for that liberation day, to be honest.
Why? Why did you feel the need to say it on Facebook? What were you trying to
Yeah.
achieve?
First of all, because I I kept it to me and to my close friends. Usually, I'm an open guy, so yeah, it would have not been a surprise if I spoke on Facebook openly about it. But I tried to keep it a bit low key, to be honest. And I'm
Yeah.
rarely the type of guy. And of course, I needed to put up something positive as well. Putting up something positive in these dark times is a rare thing, you know. Most of the news that are out, most is the perspective that the people have. Other people closing their restaurants, other people losing their jobs. To give them some good news is, and even people come and speak to me, tell them and asking me questions. I try, even though to be honest, sometimes I regret posting it because it became a bit of a stressful experience, you know. All the people coming on you at last. But I'm glad that many people uh, are happy with what I did and gave
Yeah.
them a little bit of courage.
Yeah, the Facebook post, I think, had a huge reaction, right? It's a bit stressful, I think, because you got so much response to it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I still have to do teleworking. I still have to go on with my life, you know,
Yeah,
and speak
and
with
you
my friends which helped me
interview,
before. So
and you
yeah,
have
and I'm afraid of not responding someone, you know.
yeah, yeah.
I wish I can say hello to everyone who I also had the chance to speak up to old friends because of this. So yeah.
And how are you? What's your advice to people? Let's start with this. What's your advice to people who are maybe feeling some symptoms or very worried that they might be getting COVID, and or maybe they're hypochondriacs, they're worrying for nothing. But what's your advice
Yeah,
to them?
I can imagine worrying for nothing. It's at the moment this is on everyone's mind. So the moment I had my first symptoms, it wasn't like this. No, yeah, what I suggest is once you have like some symptoms, just for 111, they will book a swab for sure, and you go and do it. In the meantime, just stay a bit on your own, so that you won't be thinking that you gave it to someone.
And what's
So
your message to people? What's your message to people who are still going out, who are still trying to, make the most of life right now, and
look,
maybe they don't fully understand how the dangers, or maybe they feel that for themselves they don't mind, they're strong enough to get it. What's your message to them?
look. To be honest, I think that most of the Maltese are doing more than their best. I know that the most of the majority are doing their best. So I want to speak about what we're doing good. We're doing a lot of sacrifices. It's not easy. As I said, not just people staying in, but people closing their shops and losing their jobs. So they only need to be helpful. Obviously, those who are still going out, I don't need to comment about that. That's
I think one of
for
the
me,
things
that's
that you
selfishness and loss of respect to the rest of the people who are, and mostly loss of respect to the frontliners, because those are the real heroes. It's not me who I am the real hero. I'm not real hero. I'm no survivor. It's this virus is not deadly to healthy people. So those who are there and thinking that they're going to die with this, there are much more diseases that will kill you. And I stand by those people who I think they are being forgotten at the moment because of COVID. There are much more diseases which can be more lethal.
yeah. But obviously, as you said before, it's selfish to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
blamed
I'm not going to speak about those type of people because for me
because
they
of
are
the
just
kind of
selfish
people, no?
and disrespectful. And being disrespectful at that time is like a criminal offense to me. It is a criminal offense at the end of the day. I'm not saying no, don't go for a walk because when I'm out of quarantine, I'm going for a run for sure, but on my
Yeah,
own and finding like spaces which there are no people there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What about your message to the frontliners? You mentioned the frontliners, and you said they're the real heroes. What
Yeah,
was your experience of them?
yeah. I mean, I it's not only those people working in the hospital. I mean, even those simple workers working in a supermarket, putting the food on the shelf. All of them are heroes of these times because without them we wouldn't survive. So I mean, we have to give them respect by obeying the rules. This will be over as soon as possible. So, and I even thank those foreign nationals who sometimes in Malta, unfortunately, are considered as like second class. Many of them are foreigners who are working this battle at the moment, even in the hospital stuff. There were some guys from Asia which helped us a lot in those terrible times. So, in my opinion, yes, we have to consider this as those are the real heroes, not me. I just my body was like strong enough, not me. My body was strong enough to fight this. The real heroes are those who are working 24/7 for the country to go the routine to go
We
through.
have we have another question. We have another question that I think is an important one,
Yeah,
and we have quite a few people watching, hundreds of people watching. So if you have any specific questions, please share them with us before the call ends, so that I can put them to Martin. Shanice is asking, what type of medication did you take to heal?
yeah. Many people ask me this. Unfortunately, there is not medication at that time. But yes, normal paracetamol work for fever. And I have like this whole these oh sweets.
Is
Yeah, those or whatever they called. I don't want to make any sponsors, but yeah, they help with the cough. Oh, but I mean, yes.
So in terms of medication, you were only able to take paracetamol to help with the fever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I only took paracetamol. I mean, yes.
you told me you work in gaming, right?
Yes,
And you were teleworking already when you got sick.
yes. Of course, doing teleworking right now is a privilege because you can spend a lot of time doing and concentrating at work. So that's a good thing from my behalf.
But did you? There was a point when you actually went to work, right?
Yeah, only one day I went to work when I thought that this was over, that this was not COVID. The first
and
only one day.
we're getting a question whether any of your co-workers were affected, but you said
No,
nobody was affected,
thank
right? They
God.
did contact tracing and they found that you gave this illness to nobody.
Yeah, no. That guy Sean works with me from Canada.
Okay.
Okay, hi.
All right.
No. Thank God, Sean, I didn't give it to you, so don't worry about it, man.
And since
Actually, Sean had a lot of fever. He came out with me for drinks the Friday before, and he works with me, obviously. And we were sure when we were talking, we were sure that he also got it. But thank God, his test resulted negative. Because
negative.
then I would make the assumptions that I got it from a bar where we went to drink. So
So what is your what did you learn most from this experience? If you were to say, like
yes,
this was
what I learned most is that we should take life for granted. Life, we're here, we are appreciating the value of life. That's why when life returns to normal, I think that we would be very, very happy. So we appreciate one another. I mean, they were saying a lot of positive things came out of COVID. I didn't really agree in the beginning, but I think as soon as this will be over, I think that, and I'm hopeful that the world will be a better place to live in.
because we started to appreciate things that we didn't appreciate before.
Yes, we rarely appreciate the small things in life, even clothes. I think, for example, a small example. A dear friend of mine has a restaurant, and he closed it down before he was really, really busy with it. During these days, he's one of my best friends. During these days, he became more idle, so I had the chance to interact more about him. And I said, I'm glad that I'm finding old friendships and that I can still rely on them. They really helped me out, and we should continue to do that. It's not me. Um, we're all on the same boat now. People, me, you, everyone who's speaking, who's living the experience. I just think
Well,
that something I needed to say is very important in my opinion, and even to you as a media organization, is that we have we only need to see, because as you go along you see a lot of news people are curious about, and this is a new thing. We need to spread fake news at this time is something criminal to me. Even posting articles about, last time for example I saw an article that a pregnant wife had some complications. Why post it at the time? Why haven't you said that the first guy that in Italy was diagnosed, his wife had a child, and she was everything went well, and lots of things are going in the right direction. Why think more about the deaths rather than
the positive.
the people
Yeah.
which
We
are
have a few
recovering?
more.
I mean,
We have a few more questions, Martin, before
yeah.
we
Go
close.
ahead, go ahead.
So, after how many weeks were you satisfied? Were you certified as a healthy person again? It took you 3 weeks. How long?
I think, yeah, 3 weeks. I think give me a chance. Look at my camera. Not on my camera, at my calendar. So the symptoms started on the 9th. I got positive on the 18th. Then last Friday, so it like 3 or 4 months, yes, I think, to get negative again. To be
4 weeks.
honest, what I've read, I think it was like on a who document, is that the guy that stayed mostly with the virus, the time span of the virus was 37 days or something like that.
Okay.
So I think the virus will automatically die after 37 days. I'm not sure
Okay.
about this, don't quote me, but I think I just read it in like some PDF.
And at the moment, you're still in quarantine, right? You're still
Yeah,
stuck at
yeah,
home.
I have like, no, I think I have 11 days more.
Wow. And so you can't even go out for a walk. What's the
No,
situation?
no, but no, it's the slope. It's a slope. So I don't mind staying indoors now. And I've been staying here on my own like for a month or so. So I don't mind saying like 10, 11 days more. At the end of the day, it's not like my life would be much more different.
There
To be
isn't much
honest,
to do outside either
to be honest,
nowadays, eh?
I can help more my parents with doing errands and going for a run near the sea, which I think I'm longing to do the most. So yeah.
Did you are you managing to keep fit anyway at home? Are you doing?
Yeah, I have a roof. I'm trying my best, but uh, I try to balance with what I eat now. But it's
Yeah.
it's not it's not that.
I know the feeling. Did you get your on that note? Did you get your taste and smell back? Your sense of taste?
Yeah. I did. I'm enjoying the figolli.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, Martin, thank you very, very much for being with us. I think we've answered all the questions that we had time for. Again, I think it's really important that you speak out. I know some people say that, oh, you're looking for attention or whatever, but the truth is you're sending I think a very important message to people. One, that this can affect anybody, and and there's a positive story, and that's a number of people have recovered. In fact, Malta has had, I believe, 44 recoveries so far. So
we will have more. We will have more for sure. We will have more. We will have more for sure.
I think your message of hope and even your appeal for people to spread positive news and to make sure they're not spreading any fake news. I think that's really important as well. So thank you very much, Martin. Thanks for everyone who was watching and join us again for COVID calls. In fact, maybe before we end, forsi messaġġ bil-Malti għax ikun hemm ħafna nies li nafu li għamilniha bl-Ingliż għal imma forsi messaġġ għandek lil dawk li jitkellmu bil-Malti biss ukoll.
Jiena min-naħa tiegħi ġast nixtieq nirringrazzja lil dawk kollha li qed jaħdmu f'dil gwerra li kun għaddejjin gwerra sikta li għaddejjin minna tipo mill-kbir sa żgħir ta' kull nazzjon dak li jaħdmu l-pulizija għandi ħabib tiegħi eżempju naf minnu pulizija ħalla l-familja u qed jgħix waħdu. Dawk huma affarijiet li aħna ma narawhomx qed isiru u li missier iħalli l-tfal tiegħu weħedhom mhijiex ħaġa faċli. Ġifieri għaddej minn storja li dal-ġenitur. Mbagħad għandek tfal, għandek napotija miskina li kienet tieħu gost tara l-tfal kuljum. Ġifieri kulħadd għandu ġlieda tiegħu li qed jiġġieled. Anke intom bħala ġurnalisti għandkom id-diffikultajiet tagħkom hemm xogħol ix-xogħol tagħkom bħalissa huwa ħafna iktar diffiċli għax tridu tqisu kollox biex tajdu ma tajdux, fim? Ġifieri napprezzaw ngħid grazzi lil dawk kollha li qegħdin jaħdmu u ġri tipo nerġgħu niġu għall-ħajja ta' kuljum għax kemm konna ngergru qabel għal kull affarijiet li jiġru. Llum il-ġurnata naħseb la jispiċċa kollox. Ngħidu l-madoffi kien xi għaddejn, issa m'għandna xejn iktar x'nitilfu nistgħu ngawdu l-ħajja ħafna iktar milli gawdejnija qabel. Tipo qas irrid nimmaġina l-ewwel ġimgħa. Imma jiena pożittiv ta' ġifieri min-naħa tiegħi anke nara l-grafs, nipprova nara l-grafs u nqabbel ma dak li kien hemm miċ-Ċajna li issa jidher li kalmat ħafna s-sitwazzjoni. Tipo naħseb li anke Spanja bdiet nieżla l-graf. Tipo Malta bqajna tajjeb ħafna x'Malta bqajna dritti. Ġifieri jiena nemmen li noħorġu minn iktar milli qed naħsbu malajr. Ġifieri
Mbagħad fil-futur anke jekk jitilfu l-Milan.
Il-Milan ma ngħidlek, forsi il-Milan wafqu tipo wafqu jtuni kedet. Għal waqaf il-futbol waqfu jtuni kedet. Ġifieri nħallihom il-Milan għalissa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.